Hello and welcome to the Mug Life DIY. This is Julia and I am so glad you decided to join my Look for Less challenge. It is hosted by Yami, the Latina Nextdoor, and also my friend Nicole from The Week's Nest. I will have both those channels listed in my description box and I'm going to jump right into it. I picked something that I absolutely loved, but hey, I'm not going to spend that much money on. Yes, it is the little geometric objects decor pieces. Not quite sure what you would call them, but I have loved them and I decided to recreate it. I did go with a slightly different color, but this is just my preference, and I made this entire piece for, you guessed it, $1. I'm going to be just using the Dollar Tree chopsticks, and as you can kind of see, I'm using my measuring mat and I am measuring each chopstick, or skewer, I would say, 3 inches each, and you need to make 5 of these little triangles. So let's say 5 times 3, 15. Okay, hopefully that's right. I'm not great at explaining this. So I went ahead and glued and cut down my pieces, and you'll see I'm kind of like quickly going through it. And I'm just going to glue all of my little triangles together. Then we will start gluing each little section. Now right here, I am taking the 5 triangles and gluing them together. You do kind of have to manipulate it a little bit to attach it, but just add more glue and it works out great. Now, if you did want a different shape, you wouldn't have to do the pentagram. That's not right. Pentagon. Oh gosh. Guys, help me. Words. I just can't. I'm thinking of the Pentagon, so it's like that's the shape. Anyways, okay, just glue it and hold it and move it to the side. And you're going to repeat this process another time for the other side. Because each little triangle is self-supporting, this makes your structure a lot stronger. My kids have thrown this. They have done all sorts of things, and it is an actual super strong because I used more than just one little triangle piece. And here, once again, I am repeating the same process I did for the first little triangle or shape that I obviously don't know what it's called, and gluing them all together. And I just used my Gorilla Glue hot glue. If you would want to use, yes, I know, I'm blocking the camera. Way to go, Julia. If you would want to use a different type of glue, that's off, your decision. But I personally don't use anything other than hot glue. Now that I am done with my second, the same process. I measured 3 inches, cut into 3 pieces for each triangle. And I feel like I do this a lot, so I'm going to tell you guys, paint your triangles or your chopsticks black first. You can see I started it, but then I was like, oh, it won't be that hard to paint it after I was done. Yes, it was. Go ahead and paint your first base coat black. Or if you don't want a bronzy gold color that I am deciding to do, you'll still want your darkest color to be your first color on the chopstick. So if you would like to do a gray coat or a white coat, you want to make sure you do your first base coat. Please, please, please listen, because it makes it a lot more difficult when you're trying to paint it. It doesn't work. Okay, so you'll want to glue each of these other triangles that I made, and I'm going to have to count them because I don't remember, individually to the one of the side that I made. And I glued on the inside, the outside. You could even reinforce it with another stick if you would want, but I just pretty much heavily put glue on it, held it down, glued it on the inside, and started the next triangle. And it kind of ends up looking like a crown. So that's what you're going for. You're just going to be gluing on those little pieces that look like a crown. Now that you have done your little crown, you're going to be taking the other triangles in between the spaces, and I just basically glued them on top. I just dabbed glue on each of the corners of the triangle, held it for a few seconds, and moved on to the next. This is that reinforcement I was talking about. And you can see, yeah, it's a little wonky at first, but as soon as you get it interlocked with at least 2 of your triangles with a lot of hot glue, you can see, just add more hot glue, hold it together, and then move on to your next triangle. A lot of hot glue, and just kind of take your time during this step. And I actually really did have a lot of fun making this shape, even though I can't tell you what shape it is. And I have actually thought about making a couple more of these, possibly in different shapes, and even adding some succulents or other things, hanging them. My brain's going wild with making some more, because you get 100 pack of bamboo skewers from the Dollar Tree. I did not use 100, and I can totally make more. So if that's an idea you really like, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will start another bamboo craft for you guys. And this is the last of the hot glue that you will need. It is the top piece. You just glue it right to your piece with, of course, a lot of glue, and you just hold it down for a few seconds while the glue is drying. And remember my tip, definitely paint these skewers. I am having a little bit of trouble, so you can see that right here. And what I did first was I added my black, and while it was still a little bit tacky, I added a little bit of a beige color as my second coat, and I'm just kind of dabbing it on. Actually, please, this is a leftover makeup sponge. Use what you got. Recycle and reuse. Now I am going in with a little bit of a white plus the gray plus the tan, just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension, and I'm just dabbing it all the way around. Now you are going to let this completely dry before you do your final gold coat. And the final step is adding the gold paint. This is also in the apple barrel. It's just called gold, and I am using a thin brush so I can get in between all of these little triangles, and just kind of dabbing the gold on top. I want it to be very textured so that it does give a metal gold look. And here is my geometric pattern in my laundry space. I really love it. I think it just adds a really fun touch. I plan on making a few more of these in different shapes, so you'll have to stay tuned to what shape I come up with next. All right, we're gonna jump right into project 2. This is also inspired by a West Elm piece. It's a wall decor, kind of a modern boho touch, which is of course my favorite. If it's not your preference, I would just say you could skip this project, but I think this would look really adorable in a little girl's nursery or bedroom, or if you're a little bit eclectic like me, in your household decor. My new house is huge and I have a lot of wall space and a lot of ideas. So I'm going to go right into this one. I am using chopsticks, the smaller kind and the medium size. I just took 2 chopsticks, or not chopsticks, words, popsicle sticks, and trimmed off one side. I am gluing 2 of them together, and let's see, how many did I make? Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to count. And I drilled holes in the side with the curve to them. And you're gonna do that with all of the chopsticks. And this is why I draw out my projects, because I am not good at actually realizing how many I'm using and what I'm doing. I don't know if you guys sketch out ideas, but I would definitely encourage, have like a little notebook of ideas, or even if you just scribble some of your favorite videos. It's really fun to have a craft notebook. I love mine. You can see mine actually in the top part of my video, and I just think it helps me as a reference to kind of see what I'm doing, because I get lost and sidetracked, and I am, of course, a messy crafter. Now here is my reference picture of the wall sculpture. I believe, yes, they call it a wall sculpture. And you can kind of see it is, each of the little wooden pieces is a little bit smaller than the other. So I kind of measured out my big piece first using the larger popsicle stick, and then each one I just cut down a little bit shorter. So if this is the look you're going for, you'll just want to have this picture reference, which I will have to try to find the link of the West Elm one and have it in the description box so you guys can see it. It is $48. Mine completely free, because I just have a lot of stuff in my craft stash. I decided I wanted mine to be a little bit different, so I went ahead and painted my popsicle sticks a white. I did dry brush it, didn't quite want a full coverage, so you can kind of see I'm just wiping it a little bit on and off both sides and the edges, since the edges are actually going to be the front pieces of our sculpture. I also decided to use some wooden beads in a color to give it a fun pop. I began stringing my beads onto my cotton thread. This is also from the Dollar Tree if you would want to get some. And I did change my mind later on, which you will see. I decided to do 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like that, just to change it up a little bit. And then I'll thread the shortest popsicle stick, and then I did, I believe, 3 here, and then I threaded the next length of my popsicle sticks all the way through, so it creates that U shape. And here is how my piece turned out. I love the pop of pink and the square beads, makes it really unique and super fun, and it matches my eclectic style. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you guys will subscribe and like my channel. Comment below your favorite piece, and I will see you guys next time.